Hey, School Buzz here. So today, I'm going to do something a little different and talk a bit about how history compares to World of Tanks. And I think one of the main tanks that gets talked about and is at the forefront of that discussion is the Tiger 1. Now, in full disclosure, you're watching a replay right now where I'm playing the heavy tank number 6, the Japanese premium Tiger tank. Now that might seem odd, but first off, the statistics on this one are identical to what you would find on Tiger 131. I would have rather had Tiger 131, but two factors. One, I had this one first, and more importantly, I got this one for free for some mission. Didn't even realize I had it, or that I was going to get it until after I had it. But I repainted it black to make it look a little bit more German, and I'm using it to train up my OI crew, I think, right now. So it will serve well as an example of the Tiger 1. Now there's another very important aspect here, and this begins to get into the difference of history in World of Tanks versus the history in reality. And that is the gun that's used. So on the regular Tiger 1, you have what they call the short 88mm and the long 88mm. In reality, the 88mm long version, the L, I think it's 42 variant, that was never used on the Tiger 1. It was brought out and used on the Tiger 2. So the Tiger 131 and the heavy tank number 6 actually are the more accurate historical representation of how the Tiger 1 was configured. And obviously, you could configure your Tiger 1 as a your regular one, non-premium. You can configure it that way, but there's one problem. That's a tier 7 tank. The Tiger 131 and the heavy tank number 6 are tier 6, which begins to get us into some of the discussion around how we see different tanks in World of Tanks at different tiers and what actually would have been seen in reality and where they would have fought. I would say it is overall impressive that the German heavy tanks in particular, and arguably the medium tanks as well, we see them fighting in World of Tanks at tier 7. And there really aren't too many tanks in the game. I'm sure somebody could come up with some examples, but from other nations that are at tier 7 and above in World of Tanks, and they actually existed in World War II. Were used in combat. And I'll take that one step further and say if you include the Tiger 2, which did see action, and I believe the Panther 2 as well, there you have tier 8 tanks that were used by the Germans in World War II. And if you go over to the American tree, for example, you're looking at post-war designs that are going to come in as your tier 8s. Russia, I think have to double check, the IS-3 would be right on the line, but I believe we would consider the IS-3, history would consider the IS-3 to be a post-war design as well. Now, you can flame me in the comments with all sorts of examples away from this, but I think the Germans did demonstrate a superior tank, at least as far as World of Tanks is categorizing it. What I became curious about is how the actual values of penetration compare to what we see in World of Tanks. And so, first off, I wanted to take a look at the short 88mm gun to see, okay, what does this look like? And so I was able to find some data. You can see it on the screen here. Historic ones are the black and the gray, and then World of Tanks is the blue and the dark blue and the light blue. And we can see that clearly for both the AP and the APCR, in reality, they were higher penetration. I also can't help but notice that the penetration roll-off is a lot faster in World of Tanks than what you see in reality. Now also notice the 750 meter measurement there. Battles in reality took place at much longer ranges than what we have in World of Tanks. World of Tanks, they had to shrink it down They needed to keep the map sizes small, especially back in 2010 when the game came out, because PCs wouldn't be able to handle it. And even that's still kind of an issue today, that for the run-of-the-mill average PC playing the game, they had to shrink things. And just there were general playability factors. So in looking at some of the balance, I took a look at the Russian guns. And sure enough, Russian guns did not have nearly the penetration of the German guns. Maybe that would fix some of the bias issues we talked about in the game. I don't know. But if you guys show some interest in this video, I will definitely do more studying of this and take some more specific examples for particular tanks that would have seen each other in combat and do a little comparing and contrasting of it. Because I think World of Tanks gives us all a unique opportunity to look back at World War II and some of that history and firepower and have some fun learning and playing. Thanks for seeing this through to the end. If you like the video, give it a like. If you're enjoying the channel, subscribe. I am curious, and please comment below, are you liking this historical interpretation of the game, or do you want me to just focus more on play style of the game and strategy and that sort of thing? Thanks for watching.